For those of you who don't know me, I'm Councilman Abachera. I welcome you here today. You want to keep the music on? I welcome you here today. This is going to be a fantastic session. Tremendous turnout. Thank you all for showing up. It just goes to show you that the topics that we pick, with Susie doing this, is very important to you. So we are sure you're going to get a lot out of this. Susie's an expert in this. She's done this first time, Susie?
Well, we've done it a bunch of times. I'm an expert in the information that I have and
Exactly.
where they can go to get
There you go.
further.
Absolutely. So we're looking forward to that. But before we have Susie come on here, we're going to have Tom Rue come on, just to give you a brief little talk about Ocean TV, because I don't know how many of you know that there is such a thing. So I'm seeing a lot of heads. Yeah, see, there you go. So he's going to speak a little, and then we'll get Susie on here.
Thank you, Rob. So for those who don't know me, my name is Tom Rue. My primary position with the Township of Ocean is I happen to be your Director of the Office of Emergency Management. So normally you don't want to see me because that usually means something not so nice is going on. In any event, my other job is I run Ocean TV. Who here knows that Ocean Township has a cable channel?
No.
Okay, some of you do, some of you don't. If you happen to have FiOS, we are channel 22. If you happen to have Cablevision or Optimum or whatever they want to call themselves today, we are channel 77. Okay? If you happen to live outside of Ocean Township and you have FiOS, you can actually pick up 22 outside of Ocean Township. However, once you cross the border for Cablevision, it's whatever 77 is for that particular town. What we offer on Ocean TV are programs such as Susie's presentation here. We also put out the council meetings. And if you really need some insomnia, or you have insomnia and want to go to sleep, watch the Board of Adjustment meeting. It'll put you to sleep in no time, let me tell you. That being said, all video that we put together for Ocean TV is also put up on YouTube. So if you have access to a computer, you want to look at it on demand, you can get a look at it and watch it that way. I'll be honest with you, I think most of our viewership is via YouTube, but I can't really tell you because Cablevision and Verizon can't tell me how many viewers I have, so it's really a crapshoot. Anyway, with that being said, I'm going to hand the program over to Susie, and here we go. It's there, believe me, I pumped this out.
Folks, thank you very much. For those of you that need anything, my cards are going to be right up here. Susie's the expert, though, but I'm happy to answer any questions. I do need to run to another meeting. But for those where it applies, happy Passover, happy Easter. Enjoy the beautiful weather that's coming up. Thank you all.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a great time.
Thank you. I'm so glad to see everyone make it. This is our second session for the new PSA-1 application. It used to just be the PTR, which was for senior freeze. But now the state has added an additional program called New Jersey Stack. So for the seniors, they felt that it'd be more beneficial if they could actually have one application to streamline all three programs that you're entitled to. So that would be the Anchor, the Senior Freeze, and the new New Jersey Stack. So the application does look different. There's been a few questions on even how to address the income. I was hoping we were going to have Diece Davis from Senator Bingle Powell's office here. She was going to hope to answer some of the questions, but sometimes things come up and they can't attend, or maybe she'll hopefully show up at some point. But there is a lot of, their office is a resource, which I can get that information out to you, as well as the Freehold satellite office, where you can actually make an appointment and go out to have it filled out with you and hand it into them. It is in replacement of the office we had in Neptune years ago in Corley's. I'm not sure if anybody remembers that.
Yes.
Pre-COVID, but they shut that down. But they did make one in Freehold now.
Where is it in Freehold?
On Patterson, let me look at that for you.
I'll come to it now.
No, that's okay. It's in the booklet. I have it right in the booklet. Yeah,
Okay.
where you can actually, the number, the address, and
And then
even,
you can make an appointment.
yes. But I told people to, if they need to reach out, see if they can even just help you over the phone. I know the one main number that they provided, even to request applications, has been very busy. In fact, I was able to get applications this year where normally we don't get them. They don't take the time to send it for some reason. But this year, I think with the new application, they have given us some. So if anybody doesn't have it, let them know, and we do have it, okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. So what we're going to try to do is hold many of the questions till after the slide program, because you have that booklet as well. I'm hoping that maybe Grace comes and then she can answer even more, because we don't know the application. We don't fill that out, it's the state of New Jersey. What we do is we can direct you to where you can get that information. And we also like to get out the word that there is these programs for seniors, because there's been such an influx of the taxes. And the state now, as you can see, understands that as well. And they want people to stay, so that don't want to leave. Okay, so what I like to do is, I like to first start with how taxes are actually calculated. A lot of people don't understand that. So what I put in the first page, on the first page, is it's 100% market value. Now, I'm not the assessor. They do assess, in our Monmouth County, we have a program that we assess yearly. 25% they go out to the homes, and the rest are done by comparables in the neighborhood. So that assessed value, that card goes out in November. You have a time frame that you can appeal that value with at the county level. If you're over $1 million, you can go to the state directly. So that's how that first part of the equation is. Then we have to wait for the state of New Jersey to do the budget, because their budget affects the county and trickles down to the municipality. We can't get a certified rate to use to accomplish our budget needs until the state does it, which is in July. That's why the third week of July, we're usually scrambling to get those tax bills out so that they're due August 1st. And then of course you have that 10-day grace period. If you're not aware, we have a 10-day grace period for tax. If it's a weekend or holiday, it's the next business day. So not a lot of people know that either. So you take the market value times the rate, and that's your tax responsibility for that year, minus any deductions you may get. Because some people are entitled to a senior deduction, a disabled deduction, it's $250, or a veteran deduction of $250, which actually has to be talked to and applied with the tax assessor. That would be an application, like if you feel you fit into any of the categories, then you would reach out to the assessor's office, and he has the application and information. So that is how your taxes are calculated. Then as you know, you have the first 2 quarters that you pay. That's a preliminary. It's half of the prior year. That's deducted. And then the final 3rd and 4th quarters are the balance spread out. That's why you'll see your first 2 quarters are different than your last 2 quarters. And then the first 2 quarters of the new year that are on that same bill are half of the current year. So that's why the tax bills don't come in the whole year, because we're not able to do that. Like with the sewer, we have the whole year. It's a set rate. You can bill December, beginning of January. You have your whole, your whole amount there, and you can know how to budget by that. Unfortunately, with this, it's a little bit different. Let's see what we have. And this is where I more or less went over. That's also in your packet. Everything is in your packet. Okay, now, property tax relief. So we're going to go over the 3 different programs that are in that application. So now, like I had said, the Anchor, the Senior Freeze, and the Stay New Jersey. These are numbers that, and online, and actually a number that you can listen for information as well. That one maybe they'll answer a question that you may have. So that's an easier one, I'm sure, to get through. And then the regional office is here, 2 Paragon Way in Freehold. And there's their number, and then there's even another, customer number. So there's a few numbers that might help you get through. That top number, I have been told, and even the state admits, is very difficult to get through. It actually always has been.
What do you recommend to do these
If you're needing of help with it,
Yep.
you either make an appointment with the Freehold office and go out there.
Okay.
Now, also, which I have to get you that info, I thought she was going to be here. There is a local office which did have a fire. Senator Vingle's pal's office used to be on West Park Avenue. They moved to Shrewsbury, but there was an office fire in that office building. So they actually weren't able to have people come, but you can still call them. I have that number, I just don't have it with me today because I thought that she was gonna be here. So I usually, I don't put it in that packet, it's like separate handouts. But you can also make an appointment to go there, as in the past, and they can help fill out as well. But that,
You said, but there, but I don't have the number.
right, but I can get that for you. So just give me a call at the office and I can get you that number. Unfortunately, I thought she'd be here and she'd be handing things out. But the state, that's the senator's office, but the state of New Jersey is the freehold office. You can actually hand in your application. So if you go there, you can actually.
Paragon Way.
On Paragon Way, yeah, you don't even have to mail it. They've got it, you know they have it. So that's sometimes a better option if you can get out that way. Okay, but otherwise, I apologize, I wish I had that number. What I'm gonna do is, I am gonna try to look it up before, the end, everyone leaves, and I can get that number for you, because I'm sure it's on the internet, okay? So I'll get that for you. The address said that. Yeah, I'm gonna get that number and address for you before you leave, okay? Okay, so the senior freeze, this is the way the program has always been set up. It's eligible for seniors and disabled persons. What this program actually does is, in the first year you qualify, it takes, say it's 23 and 24, you're first applying. It's gonna use your 23 as your base going forward, and this is only if your taxes went up in 24. You're only gonna get a reimbursement if your taxes go up from the base, whether it be 23 or your 23 going forward. If there's no increase, there's no refund with this program. So some years we see if your assessed value didn't go up that much and the rate is lowering, which it has been, it may actually be you don't get anything back.
Does it go up a percentage of what the increase was?
The way that the tax rate is derived is by budget. Okay, so they look at,
Yeah, you mentioned that.
Oh.
If it goes up,
mhm.
you get a return of a percentage of how much.
No, it's the difference. So like say your
Total
tax,
difference, the total
the total difference. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Why would you get that back?
From your base to what you went up,
Then why would they charge it? Like, when you get back to it?
because they don't know if you can qualify. These programs are based on income, age, how long you lived in your home, and each one has its own criteria. Okay? So you fill out this each year, keep in mind, and the anchor's not automatic anymore. It used to be. You have to fill this out each year for anchor, senior, and stay New Jersey. Okay? I think eventually, in my opinion, they're gonna eventually phase out the senior once, because you starting this year, you're gonna probably qualify for more money with the New Jersey stat. Because I'll explain how the programs are working, but I could see that eventually maybe being phased out and not even needing that because of what the New Jersey state, how it works, okay? So basically, no matter what, say you started back in 1985, whatever that base is, if your taxes go over that, you get that total reimbursement back. And right now, it's always checks because there's really no way right now for them to be able to, by software, to give us the money like they used to do with the homestead. It's a little bit more involved with reprograms. They're trying, but right now it's always a reimbursement. And they would have to do that a little differently too because you couldn't get the money back unless the income requirement was met, okay? So you'll see how each one has its income. Okay, so with the senior, it could be you or your spouse. You don't have to both be 65. But with the senior, you have to be 65 by December 31st of 23. Then you can apply for the senior portion. You're gonna fill out the application for all three. Don't get on the semantics of, I'm gonna work for this, I'm gonna make criteria for this one or that one. They want all the info. They're gonna determine what you qualify for. So just fill the whole thing out. And then also if you're receiving Social Security disability benefits, then it's by December 31st of 23.
Excuse me,
Yeah.
I have a question on the previous slide. Does this require you to have disability benefit payments for you to qualify?
No, some people get those. So that applies to people that have, disability
So
benefits.
just getting social security is enough to get the benefit?
No, it's where you fit into the program. So if you're receiving federal Social Security benefits payments before this time frame, then that's, you can qualify for, like if you don't have it, then you don't have to worry about it.
If the word disability is throwing my mind into it.
No, do you get disability benefits?
No.
Then don't worry about it. It doesn't apply to you. It only applies if you get social, the disability benefits, sorry. Federal Social Security. In the senior freeze, you have to live in your home 3 years. December 31st, 2020 forward.
I live in Ocean Township, but I've been in my new place 2 years, that's it.
Call them, there's a special application. Okay, the question was, if you sell your home in Ocean Township and go into another home in Ocean Township, how does that affect you? You have to have 2 years, and I'll tell you why. In 2 years, you can you have to contact them, it's a special form. They need 2 years to reset your base. So that's why it has to be 2 years, not 3. You don't have to wait the 3.
You call Freehold?
No, you have to contact the state of New Jersey. I don't know if Freehold's gonna have that form. I mean, you could try, but normally it's either look online or call the state, and then you explain that I sold my home, I'm now there 2 years, I stayed in the same township, and they can get that form to you.
What if you've been in Monmouth County resident?
It doesn't matter, Mom, it has to be the same town.
I've
Yeah.
been in the same town.
Same town,
Excuse me,
yes.
if you own your home and you live in it, and then you sell it, and you have another home, you still have to wait 3 years?
2 years, that's what we're saying now. If this home is in the same township,
Yeah,
you wait 2 years, you have to get the special form, because they need a base again. They need a base to set again, because you're on a whole new home. They need a new,
so you live in your other house.
right, but that program was adjusted for the assessed value and all that, for that home, and your taxes for that home. Now you have to restart again for the taxes in the new home. So it's 2 year wait, not 3 year wait. And if it's, yeah, maybe you do have to call them for a specific form for that, okay? And it doesn't require the PTR form. Yeah, I'm sorry.
If a couple is under 65 and one is disabled, can they qualify for any program?
The senior and well, yeah. Federal Social Security disability benefits, that it doesn't have, I believe, an age. I'm not sure about that. That's a good question. Most of the programs, it's 65 or older. It's for the seniors, so I'm not sure how they're looking at it being with this, because the criteria of the age is this, but it says or. So that's where I'm thinking, I have to get back to you on that if you are receiving federal Social Security disability benefits, it may not matter what age, because that can happen, it's a disability.
That's my question.
Yeah, that we'll have to look into. That I don't have an answer for. But, either I can try to reach out to them, give me your information. At the end, I can take your information and get back to you, okay?
Question?
Yes.
What if you're not 65 yet, but turning 65 this year?
No, this program, for the senior portion,
Right.
you have to be 65 by December 31st, 2023. We'll go into each program as it goes along, okay? Because each one has its own criteria, even though it's one application. That's why you have to fill out the whole thing. They just want your information. They don't want you to figure anything out. They just want you to put that info, and they're gonna do the rest for you,
I want to
okay?
confuse you.
They just telling you this is available, but we're gonna see what fits for you, okay? So that's why I'm saying it's just fill out the application, and they will say, yes, you can, or no, you can't. So but I'm letting you know how it's still the same as it was in the past. However, they did change the amount of time that you can live in your home. It used to be 10 years. You used to have to live in your home 10 years before you could fill this out. So they changed that. So that was a good thing. That happened a year or two ago. So now, with the PSA 1, you do not have to show proof of your taxes billed. You do not have to show proof of age. And for people that are disabled, they don't have to show that they're disabled. That all is getting from information that they can gather up from their sources.
On the application, it says, Social Security disability.
Right.
I'm not disabled.
But don't pay attention to that.
I do get Social Security.
But that's not disability. So we've got to,
Put no there?
yes, correct. Unless it's disabled Social Security, you're not going to XWAP what doesn't fit to you. That's why a no will send you to another portion of the form.
So you just put not applicable?
No, it's no. It should be no, it's yes or no. Somebody asked if it was the Social Security for disability. It's no for you, because if that's not for you, then you do your regular Social Security. And then it'll tell you to go to whatever form. Just don't overthink it. If that's not you, just say no. And then just say no. Okay. And then you don't have to have, again, the PTR form was the proof of taxes billed. You don't need that anymore. So you can call us for your taxes you paid in or your bill taxes in 2024, you don't have to come. We'll just give you the figure over the phone, unless you want to visit. We always love to see everybody's faces, but it's so much easier now. Now, again, we just discussed this. If you move, it's 2 years and not the 3, and you do have to get the appropriate paperwork from the state of New Jersey. We spoke about that. Now, senior freeze incomes, which are different from the other programs. For somebody beginning this for the first year, they're gonna want your 23 and your 24, because you're filling out for both years, to get that base. For anybody who's just been in the program and they're doing it for 24, that's your 24 income. So you have to make $163,050 or less for 23, and then $168,268 or less for 24. Yes?
What constitutes income? Is that from your tax form line?
You're gonna look at the application. It's your 1040 gross income, but they want you, as we were discussing before, to add back in some exempt income.
Okay.
When you look line by line on that Schedule A or B, whichever year you're doing it for, it's asking you, I'm gonna grab an application like at the end, and we'll look at that closer, because it could be the difference of a number. Sometimes some of your stuff is taxable and not. So if you have a taxable in the one column and it's a total over here that's more, you're gonna do the difference. You're not gonna add back the same income in. They're requiring income that is on the New Jersey 1040 that's exemptable, they're not making it exempt. So I don't, but again, that doesn't mean you're not gonna get something back, because the senior freeze is only one of the programs, okay? Now, if you have a trust or life estate, a lot of people decide to do this. It doesn't mean that you can't file. You can. So as long as it fits the criteria, you will have to, prove proof of name, because you no longer have, and that you have this trust set up, because the property is no longer in your name. So that would be something that you can address as well. So I just want to make sure people realize that. Okay, so you're not eligible, because I've had some great questions over the years. If it's a second home or a vacation home, if it's on your primary residence, you can't get the senior freeze. If you rent it to someone else, that's income property. You can't get it. Now, this doesn't mostly apply to many people. This is more for commercial/residential. So if it's more units, and if you're totally exempt. We have some veterans that are 100% exempt. And they, again, are not going to apply for something that they're not paying. So now, the anchor. All right, so this program is to all residents of New Jersey. Yes.
Before you go into the anchor, question for you. I've been in my house 50 years. I believe this is the first time I'm eligible for the senior freeze. What would be my base here? Would it be
23.
23?
Yes. Your base year, because they're going to take 23 and 24. Their base year is going to be set at 23.
Right.
And then if your 24 is higher, you would get back that difference. And then going forward.
And as far as the income goes, it's not just the taxes exempt that you list on the tax return, it's also your Social Security.
Yes, they have, if you look, we'll look at it now real quick. A lot of you may have I don't have a slide, but a lot of you may have your books. You have to look at the schedules for A or B, that's for 23 and 24. You're gonna see that they tell you to put in your gross adjusted income on that first line. They want you to add back whatever on each of those lists is. So it could be an IRA, it could be your Social Security, it could be anything that may pertain to you individually. So if you look at that schedule, you'll see that there's things that they want you to add back. When you add them together, that's what they want you to put in the application. You may not have anything to add back in. It may be little, it may be, because the state of New Jersey for theirs is exempting them, where they're not doing it for this program. They want more of your income to be noted.
Even though you wanted to do this for the first time, but I wanted to base it on the taxes of 2024, because that's when they were the lowest. You're telling me I have to do it for 2023?
No, you have to do it for you're just doing the program this year? Yeah, you need 2 years, so you need to look at 23 and 24. So your 23 is gonna be your base. So whatever your 24 went up, that's your difference. Okay, then it's not gonna, this part of it's not gonna apply for you.
So if you use 2024 as your base, when would I?
You'll have to see if your 25 taxes go up. You can't pick a base year. It's when you first qualify with the fact that your requirements as well as your taxes actually went up. The senior freeze was set up for taxes going up, not just to give you money back, where the New Jersey stay is a little different. So when we get there, you'll say, okay, I have this hit and then I'll get you next. Yes. Go over where? Sorry. Go ahead.
You say rental properties are exempt.
No, yeah, rental, yes, yes. You're not living in there, it's not your primary residence.
Well, that's the question. If it's your primary residence and you rent it out half the year,
That's something you'll have to contact the state. Because they want you to live in these homes, but they want you to live in them this amount of time. I'm gonna say no, but that's something that you need to talk to them about, yeah. Because we have a lot of people that, this is their primary home, but they live in Florida. But they don't rent their house out. So that's something that you're gonna have to talk to the state about. Because if you make income on it, they may say no. I don't know. That's something that, it might be cut clear, it might not. That's something I would definitely address them with. Okay? That was if you live in your home, it's your primary residence, but you rent, so it's really your primary one that you use for New Jersey, but you may live someplace else, whether you own it or you rent down there. If you rent your house out, now it's not really your primary, even if it's only half the year. So that's a good question, but, I don't have that answer.
Shouldn't be variable.
Well, it's individualized.
I know.
That's the thing. It's straightforward, but not everybody, if you live in your home all year round, then it's not a problem. But when somebody has
no, I know
a
that.
variable,
Yeah.
but I mean, it may be that simple. No, I don't know. So, okay, I thought I saw another hand. Yes.
Yeah, so if your income for 2023 is higher than this amount, then we can't start it, correct?
No.
Then you have to start it at 2024 and 2025.
Correct.
Okay,
For senior freeze.
for senior freeze. Okay.
Okay? But they don't want you to determine that. They want you to fill the entire application out because you're not filling this out like you used to with the senior freeze, as that's the one program it's for. It's for all three. So they need the information for all three. They'll determine that because what they're going to do is they're going to send you an explanation of benefits. And they're going to let you know what you qualified for and how you're going to get your money. We're going to kind of look at that at the end though too. Okay? Okay, so for the anchor, this is for 65 and over. You can't look at what other people may get that's under 65. This is again for people that are 65 and over. So you're gonna look at the gross income, 65 and over. SSD is if you have Social Security disability. Again, if you don't, that doesn't apply to you. So these are the incomes that you have to make for the different amounts. And then if somebody rents, because don't forget, they have to fill this out too. Even if you don't own the home, as a renter, you're still going to fill this out for your anchor because you're over 65. Where in the past it wasn't like that. Now it's still this form because this is what they're using for seniors, no matter what program that you're going for. So that's the different incomes that it's in your book that you would have to make to fit the requirements for the anchor. Have any questions on that one?
Does the anchor, so is it done automatically for 2023 and 2024 is the first year we have to?
The anchor in 24 is now part of this. Okay, so the anchor was the old homestead. It stopped at 2021, I want to say. 2 years right now, they don't know what they're doing with 21 and 22. They're not saying they're not giving it, they just don't know what they're doing with that. This starts in 24, okay? I knew I was going to get that question.
Yeah.
Is anchor now restricted to 65 and over?
No. This is for the applications for 65 and over. The other people have to do it the old way. Like me. I'm almost there, but I'm not quite there yet. I'm getting close. This is the more forward, like the forward program, like giving requirements. Okay, so this is the new program, State New Jersey. Okay, this is the one that's just starting this year. You have to be age 65 or older. Again, like I said before, it doesn't matter when you turn it as long as it's your 65 when you're applying. Only a full year that you have to live in your home. This is for homeowners only. The other one was for the anchor. I thought I was still in that. Sorry. Your gross income for this is less than $500,000. Like where the senior freeze. Yes. Okay. Where the senior freeze, it has its requirements because that's what it's been doing all along. This is a new one. This is $500,000 and under. Your benefit would be if you qualify for this one, is half your property taxes. However, it can only be a maximum of $6,500. But you're not gonna get all three and add it together, okay? So if you qualify for all three, say it's $10,000 for half your taxes, and you qualify for this one. So you get $5,000. That $5,000 is gonna be distributed if you qualify for your anchor, the amount for that. If you get your senior freeze, that amount. It's gonna be deducted off that $5,000. The balance will come under the state of New Jersey, because these are right now being given out at different times. So you would still benefit, you may get more, because if you're newer in the senior freeze program, this is probably gonna be higher. If you've been doing it for 15 years, this may not be higher. It depends on how much your taxes have gone up and what your base is. That's why they're gonna look at it for you.
Our taxes, there's a $2,000 difference.
For what, from 23 to 24? What
No,
do you mean a $2,000 difference?
it's for 18 years.
But you have to look each year going forward. Like, you can't look at the overall of, this is what it's only $2,000 that it went up for 18 years? That's actually not good, bad. I went up more than that. And I have a team Tony house. So it's year by year though that they're looking at it now, so,
Oh, that's how we do it.
yeah.
So they just look at 1 year for this New Jersey State program?
Everything is, you mean in terms of, it's all for 24. It's all for income 24.
Right.
Yeah.
So if, say for example, your taxes were $10,000, you meet all the other requirements, you would be possibly eligible, we're not talking about the anchor or the other program, for $5,000?
It includes that though. You have to realize your maximum, yes. If you qualify for all three programs, and if your taxes and your senior freeze is less than, if your anchor and your senior freeze total less than the 5,000, you're gonna be getting that balance through the state of New Jersey.
Okay.
Is that a better way to say it,
Yeah.
maybe? Okay.
And when is that distributed?
That, we're gonna get to that.
Okay.
Each one has its own time frame.
So we'll get paid whatever amount we're eligible for by check or direct deposit. Is that considered taxable income?
I talked to an accountant about that. That I don't know. I don't get this, so I have no idea, so, yeah. I'm thinking not, you're getting your property tax back, so I don't see that to be the case, but I'm not an CPA, so I don't quote me on that. Okay, so this is where a lot of people who haven't qualified for senior freeze will qualify.
Says property taxes. Does that include everything on the property tax bill? The fire department? the
Yes, your
library,
total property tax bill.
the total-
We're not breaking anything, they're not breaking anything out. What your taxes are for the year. That's what they're gonna look at. So if they're 10,000, you're 5,000. So, yeah, we don't break that out, they're not gonna break that out. Not even the school.
Are they using a base for 2024 too, or that's another?
No, that's only the senior freeze, okay?
I see it, I see it, the 2024 income, so,
Everything is for 24. Anchor, senior freeze, and New Jersey State. You're applying for 24 benefits, so everything is reflecting for your income and your taxes in that year. Next year will be 25. So, yeah, so basically it's half, because like if your taxes are 10,000 this year and they go down to 8,000 next year, and you apply, you qualify for the state of New Jersey, you're only gonna get 4,000. You know, I know it's a silly thing, but you never know, I'm telling you. The rate does go down. The town collects what we need, no, it is, the rate's been going down. Because if you look back at 2020, in District 2, our rate was 2.493. Now we're down to 1.453 or something like that. There's like 2 fire districts. I unfortunately live in the higher one. So, because we're not making money, what we're doing is trying to fulfill a budget of what we have to maintain in the town. Okay, that means like everything. So, we try to meet, like we try to keep the staff low, we try to keep supply, we try to do our best for our end. The fire district isn't that much. If you look at your bill, like I don't want to down them, but maybe I would say go to some school boards. 86% of our taxes go to the school. I would ask them where their money's being spent, because I too, my kids are grown now. I had not one in school, then I had kids in school, and now I don't have kids in school. They're grown. So, the state of New Jersey needs to revamp that system totally, I believe. But that's a lot of where our taxes go. We do try in the townships, just to know that we do try to maintain as low, needs as possible. With being in reason, you want good people, Okay, so this is what I was saying earlier too. This PSA 1 form replaces the PTR 1 or 2, that depends on whether you were new or ongoing with the senior. The anchor application, again, there's no more automatic anchor. In the past with 65 and older, they were just automatically doing it for you guys. You didn't have to fill it out, like I had to fill it out to see if I still was qualified. They're going to terminate the benefits that you're going to receive. They're going to send an annual statement of benefits so that you know what you're getting. And the deadline to file is as usual, October 31st of the current year. My advice is, as soon as you get your tax return done, I would get that out, because it does determine on when you get your benefits. And then they have your application, they can start working on it. And if it is less employees, it's going to take longer. I heard that that's another thing too. If there's, not as many employees that there have been in the past, it takes a little bit longer. So. Okay, now, this is what we've been told so far about when it's going to be distributed. So your property tax, your old senior free, or your current senior free, sorry, it's the old application, will begin on July 15th. But again, when you get it out there is when you're going to get your money coming to you. Okay, it's by check. Okay, and I'll go over the online. The online application is the only way, basically that's the only place you can get a direct debit. But with the online application, you also have to set up an ID.me account through the government, which is not a bad thing to do, because you can get all it's security. I did that for my Social Security benefits. Anything you do with the government, you go through that and it's secure. So that you have to set up first though, to do the online. And that's the only way to get a direct deposit.
Is this online account only for New Jersey?
The ID.me or the...
Okay, because the federal government also has an online account.
It's ID.me.
Oh.
It's only one ID.me.
Okay, so this is different from login.gov.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. The ID.me is, I think, like you said, it pertains to many things, but there's no other. I only know that there's one. It'll tell you that on the website when you try to do it online. So that's the beginning when they're going to send them out, or sooner, depending upon when they get them done and when they get the applications and get them completed. The anchor will begin in September 2025 and continue in the rolling basis. Most payments, they're saying, will be 90 days after you get it and they have looked at your criteria. Again, a check and only direct debit if you apply online. The state of New Jersey is a little different. Now, I'm going to jump down to real quick. All the programs, there's always the verbiage. Property tax relief programs are subject to state budget appropriations. That means any of them. And you know that from Homestead, if you lived here a long time. The Homestead, 2 years are 2 years behind because they didn't have the money to give that. So sometimes things happen. If the budget is going to be too great, then they may, it hasn't happened with the senior freeze. Ooh, that's great. So we're hoping this doesn't.
He already did, but
Yes.
Murphy got a little nervous.
Yeah, that's again, it's based on what that budget's going to be. Okay, so and this is why the New Jersey stay is coming in the new year, because they have to get this budget done before they can say exactly, like they can't give it now. They have to wait for the budget to be done in July to know exactly how much. So the state of New Jersey payments, would be in each tax quarter you would get a check. So February 1, May 1, August 1, and November 1, they would start being sent out. So, because I think what they're trying, you'll get a check.
Now, are we getting
or
checks for all these
yes.
other programs?
Check if you do a paper application. If you do an online application, which requires ID.me, then you can get direct debit. Now, I'm going to tell you why it's set up this way too. In the future, as I said, right now they can't credit us for your tax reimbursements. But they're going to try to see what we can do in the future. So like the homestead.
That's what I thought it was, they were gonna pay our taxes.
No, we can't, we're not set up for that. Right now, each municipality has different software. It's a big gathering to get everybody on board, I mean, I don't know what they had to do for the homestead, but this is a little bit bigger of a program in terms of monetary. But what that does is, that means that in the future, if they do get it where they're accrediting, your taxes, it's gonna be credited over the 4 quarters. You're not gonna get like one lump sum with it, it would still
Yeah, 4
be credited.
quarters, yeah.
Right, that's why it's set up that way too. They can, and then they have to figure out the money as well, so. And that's it. That is the new application. That is the criteria that they're gonna look at. Again, fill out the whole application, let them do the determinations. And, if you need that help, like I said, I'm gonna look up right now. I'm going to get Vingo Pal's information for you guys. I don't know if the office is open, but I know that they at least can help you online. It's on Shrewsbury Avenue. It's in one of the 12 buildings. I can't remember, it's like 766 Shrewsbury Avenue or something like that, but I have to look.